This is a fun and easy DIY little napkin for any type of meal, especially for this autumn season. I had extra linen and decided this would be perfect for a table linen. I make sure to fold it so I know where the center of my napkin is. I tape it down to my cake spinning table and I use a permanent marker which has two different types of tips. One is a thicker tip, one is a fine tip. I am just doing a little simple outline of leaves and I decide I want to give it a little shading on the different sides to make sure to give something entertaining for the eye to look at. While I'm doing a little bit of the shading, I'm adding the veins of the leaves. These are little autumn leaves, but of course this really is perfect throughout the year. I add a little berries here and there, little dots, just because it looks pretty. I have freezer paper underneath this so that if it needs to dry for a while, I just let it be on that. I don't want the permanent marker on the backside to make a stain. Onto my second napkin. As you can see, I taped it down again with some painter's tape and I begin to draw very similar in shape as my first napkin. I alternate between the thin side of my marker, the fine tip, and my thick tip. And as you can see, I just give hints of the thickness on those lines, just as you've seen with my pyrography set and some of my sketching and some of my drawings and paintings. Having a thin line to a thick line is very pretty for the eye to look at. Adding my little berries and just a couple more details in the veining of these leaves, but keeping it pretty simple. I have to say that this cake turning table really comes in handy for all of my projects. I highly recommend them. I'm satisfied with my second napkin and I let it dry. Because this is a rustic napkin, I just cut the edges. I didn't even sew it, and they're so pretty at this little table. I chose to do a very simple palette of just blacks and whites and browns. These tones are super pretty, great for the autumn, spring, winter, all throughout the entire year, and the summer, of course. Thanks so much for watching. Wishing you happy creations.